Oh my God, are we all going to die? We've got coronal mass ejections. Where are they headed? We'll cover it in this edition of the Daily Space Weather. So here's some spectacular imagery from the SDO and the LASCO C2 and C3. And we see at least 2 coronal mass ejections. One sort of off the northwestern limb and one sort of off the southeastern limb. They do indeed appear to be separate events. Are they earthly directed? We'll cover it. And lots more in our in-depth daily space weather coverage, as we do on the regs. First, let's take a look at the earthly magnetism zone. Earth's magnetic moment from space, the geospace magnetosphere movie showing magnetohydrodynamic pressure. If you think Nibiru is hiding here behind the Earth, I feel sorry for you. People would be able to see Nibiru if it was hiding behind the Earth. It would be a planet-sized thing causing obscuration, even if it's completely dark. That's the last 4 hours of the space weather modeling framework, Earth's magnetic moment from space. Here's Earth's magnetic moment from the ground. This one's scaled in nanotesla. And we're just coming off of a period of geomagnetic unrest. We are expecting additional geomagnetic unrest periods, at least NOAA is, over the next couple of days. Not exactly sure why, but that's the forecast. So no major arguments here. Things look like they are calming down. It was a glancing blow from a coronal mass ejection strike a couple of days ago. And let's move on to the KP index. You can see here now back to geomagnetic calm conditions with a planetary K index of 3. It's a KP3. Next, head into the real-time solar wind. And it was a fairly weak coronal mass ejection strike here. Quite mild, really, in most ways. Velocity only made it up to about 460 kilometers a second, nearly 470 kilometers per second. And the density only made it up to not even 10 protons per cubic centimeter. You can see the beginning of the event starting right here when the BTBZ shifts. We also see the density come up. And then some variations in the velocity. No major changes in the temperature, which is this bottom green line. Current conditions are about 420 kilometers per second for the velocity, about 7.3 protons per cubic centimeter for the density. No spikes in the proton flux, no major flares over the past few days. Goes magnetometer, pretty smooth here. You can see these little spiky areas. That is a coronal mass ejection strike. It's barely a glancing blow, barely a blow at all. Let's take a look at the current sheet next. Solar plasma magnetism. It gets oriented to one pole or the other. Earth is currently in a south pole heliospheric current sheet, shown there in red. And yeah, things are looking pretty solid there in the south pole current sheet. We've seen some sunspots degrade. We thought they were going to be named yesterday. They never got named. Keep in mind, folks, the magnetic environment can change suddenly with no warning. This is the line of sight ecliptic plane field plot. And no real changes coming to the heliospheric current sheet at the moment, at least from Earth's perspective. Just a south pole current sheet. Next, the coronal hole line of sight plot. That is the sun's B field in blue. And this imagery also shows south pole oriented coronal holes in red, north pole oriented coronal holes in green. We've got some south pole oriented coronal holes moving into the earthly zone here. Or as Tamitha Skov calls it, the Earth Strike Zone. Oh my God, are those coronal holes going to murder us? Well, the answer is no. So, here are those coronal holes. They are south pole oriented coronal holes. And we can expect to see a high-speed stream from that in about 3 days. So that's close to being a transequatorial coronal hole. Those are the most geo-effective kind, as they tend to send streams of high-speed protons toward planet Earth. And let's move on to sunspots. So the overall solar activity has dropped since yesterday a little bit. The radio flux now down to 117 solar flux units. Here's the situation for sunspots. Most likely place to see a major flare would be from sunspot 2978. You can see it's quite huge. It's got some complementary ombre to its south mainly, some to its east also. I think 2985 has grown a little bit since yesterday, but otherwise things pretty calm. Again, a minor reduction in solar activity since yesterday. Let's take a look at the visuals of this. 1700 angstroms. I think 2985 grew a little bit since yesterday. We saw some fairly well-defined ombre. These areas over here, they don't warrant a name yet because they've been sort of sputtering, really. Not really being solid sunspots at the moment. They looked more solid yesterday than today. Once again, folks, keep in mind the magnetic environment can change with basically no warning. By the way, did you know that our videos appear on BitChute also? Some of them, as we've been putting up exclusive content. And check out the view counts. Did you know YouTube has an estimated 1 billion daily users? Isn't it weird that we only see like less than 100 views per day? I think we saw less than 100 views yesterday on the YouTube channel video. And we put everything together just to do something different. We put it on all the sites. It was originally streamed live to Twitch. We also uploaded it to BitChute. There it is. It was a 29-minute video. As above, so below. Thanks to our Twitch followers. By the way, we've been seeing all kinds of different Twitter accounts claiming that they're going to get you Twitch followers. So, hey, post your Twitch channel. We've seen this for a couple of days and left comments. We still have gained 0 Twitch followers as a result of that. And to everybody out there who thinks Elon Musk is going to somehow create free speech by being a less than 10% shareholder of Twitter, think again. Think again. It seems like an investment scam to me. And look, Elon Musk does plenty of things that I like and plenty of things that I don't like, to the point where he's basically balanced out because, look, he had to step down as CEO of Twitter because of avoiding an SEC investigation, and it's a problem. These investment maneuvers are a problem, and I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Twitter keeps trying to get me to follow Elon Musk, and I refuse to do it. I see enough of his posts anyway. Thanks to our Twitter followers, consider following us on Twitter. If you don't have a Twitter account, get one. Get one. We've only got 238 followers on Twitter, and I'm sure it's got nothing to do with censorship, folks. I'm sure it's got nothing to do with censorship. It's just I guess the quality of the content just isn't there, folks. We have no idea what we're talking about, I suppose, and that must be what it is. Twitter.com/SmashOmash. Consider becoming a member of the Smash team if you'd like to support the content. Join at the silver or gold level. We replace Patreon with our own superior website, smashomash.com/Smash team. And welcome to the Neo Renaissance. Congratulations to all of our viewers for realizing the channel exists. Take a moment to press like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. Click our links. And by the way, if you want to send me an instant message, hit me up on Discord. There's a permanent invite to our Discord channel. Moving on to look at solar flares. Only a couple C-class intensifications since yesterday's videos. I should say video, we only made one. And it wasn't for any particular reason, just to mix things up, folks, and keep them guessing. Let us know in the comments what you think of the pathetic censorship on the internet. Do you believe, as we do, that big tech can't break the internet, but the internet can break big tech? Anyway, that's the flaring over the past 3 days. We also brought up a star chart, as we're wont to do most days. You've got Saturn and Mars and Venus and Jupiter all rising ahead of the sun. If you're up before dawn and you've got a clear eastern horizon, go check it out. It's great morning viewing. And maybe I won't get control back of this webpage. Let's just move on. Here's a solar system forecast for the next week. Here's where things will be in a week as we approach another full moon. Keep in mind, this is not to scale. Planets are nowhere near that close to each other, And Jupiter and Saturn aren't going to kill us either. The sun's not going to kill you, and neither is Jupiter or Saturn. Next, looking at coronagraphs, we're going to look at the Stereo A coronagraph located here at Lagrange 5 and the Soho-Lascaux C2 coronagraph located here at Lagrange 1. Since we saw 2 coronal mass ejections, there's 1 and there's 2. Neither of these appear to be earthly directed. The first one may have a minor Earth component, but it doesn't really look like it would be anything serious, if even detectable, especially with a coronal hole high-speed stream on the way, which we can expect in about 3 days. So NOAA is forecasting some geomagnetic unrest over the next couple of days. It doesn't look like it's going to be anything major. In fact, I would say it's certainly not going to be anything major. In any case, thanks for tuning in to the Daily Space Weather, the primary feature of the Smash News Network least busted name in news. And if you think we're making fun of CNN by calling it the Smash News Network least busted name in news, it's absolutely true. It is all a dig on CNN because, look, the first fake news was CBS, Walter Cronkite covering the Vietnam War from a politically biased perspective. At least he came out of the closet and admitted that he was doing it in a biased fashion. What's up with big tech, folks? Let us know in the comments what you think of big tech and the pathetic censorship on the internet. Will it ever end? And why is it that we see less than 100 views per day on YouTube? Seems a little sketchy to me when we're seeing like 2,000 views per day on BitChute. See you next time. I've been your host, Dan, a.k.a. Smash-O-Mash, signing off. And may that solar wind be at your back.